Well, everyone, it's time. Time for all of you to shake your wives awake and yell, "Honey, look, Diesel uploaded another idubbbz video." Now, as we know, Ian has launched a streaming career where he, actually, I don't know what he watches. Honestly, I just see clips of him spurging like a chimp, leading to me pointing and laughing. If his goal is to be entertaining and nothing else, I'd say he succeeded. I could watch this shit all day.
No, I can wait. No, I can wait.
Anyways, Ian made a comment recently that really puzzled me. Unfortunately, it seems that our green little friend has left our world to embrace the fantasy he has created in his own head as his own reality. Apparently, Content Cop H3, you know, the one that completely butt-fucked his entire career, was, according to Ian, actually good. And the reason why it seems like the video wasn't received well is because normal people are too busy to comment under his videos, while us chronically online goblins that make fun of Ian do not represent the majority.
In the H3 Content Cop, there was a huge amount of support on that video. Tons of likes, more likes than dislikes, even though everyone would like people to believe that it's the opposite. But when you go into the comment section, it's hell. Like, people do not like it in the comment section. But I've realized that, like, normal ass people who fuck with the content, they don't have the time. They touch too much fucking grass. They're not leaving a comment. They're not fighting tooth and nail to either defend me, defend Anissa. They're normal people. Why would they spend time in the comment section, especially the comment section of idubbbz TV? You know, if there was more like of a balance of power and they were commenting support on like a more neutral person, then it would make sense. But it's idubbbz TV, so it's like they just don't want it. They can't be fucked. They can't be fucked. They can't be bothered. I know that the support from the people that I'm looking to get it from are showing it. They're liking the video. They're, you know, sending me private messages. They're commenting on other places that aren't as fucking nasty as the YouTube comment section. It's really good. Like, you just have to not be scared. Like, I think a lot of people see that sort of shit and they're like, oh my god.
Yes, according to Ian, there seems to be a group of grass-touching chads who actually love the new idubbbz and his content. But because they're all too busy living life, they simply do not have the time to type a comment to show idubbbz support. Apparently they still have enough time to send him a private message or comment on other platforms, but I guess they can find time out of their busy schedules for that. Doesn't really make any sense, but okay. Now, I for one believe the Content Cop on H3 was horrendous, but that doesn't mean the entire series is a complete flop. Maybe everyone who loved the Content Cops in its heyday also didn't represent the majority. What I'm going to do today is rank all of Ian's Content Cop videos and go through why some hit the mark and others were a flop. Essentially reviewing the humor of the videos, along with the criticism and an N-word counter. We'll be going through each Content Cop in order, starting with Jinx. Jinx Content Cop came out when reactionary channels kind of plagued the online world. Well, I guess they still do. I'd say Ian did a fine job providing decent examples for why Jinx's content was ass cheeks, breaking down why his reaction content provides nothing of value, or how Jinx's videos of trying to do stand-up fail to be relatable or humorous. I think what I like most about this video is the acknowledgement that every YouTuber has cringy old videos, but the problem with Jinx is that his newer content during that time is still cringe. He never grew out of being a bad content creator. I will say this video isn't hilarious or anything. I mean, there are some small edits here and there that got a chuckle out of me, and the Jinx cringe clips of him calling celebrities is a special kind of cringe, where it's so baffingly horrible but hilarious at the same time, and I think Ian presented these clips masterfully. However, idubbbz does say the no-no word in a video where he rants about a black man, no less. As we can see, old traditions do not die, with Ian posing with the swastika sword after ranting about a Jewish man. Anyways, this N-word is a 12-point reduction. With that in mind, I'd say overall the Jinx Content Cop is pretty decent. I'd give it a B. We don't really get the actual content of amateur food reviews until about 2 minutes and 20 seconds of this 9-minute video, but these next few minutes are jam-packed with entertaining skits. I would say the actual critiques in this video are just alright, but there's a lot more comedy here than the Jinx video. Ian getting dragged into the dark abyss of a sewer after doing a food review. It might be one of my favorite clips from him.
Are we serving breakfast all day? Let's peep this out. It has all sorts of good, it has fish in it, and it...
It's strange though, because I don't understand why this content cop was deleted by Ian. Like, the critiques themselves are not even that harsh, and the comedy is just goofy. I think the most offensive joke he says in this video is calling Joey's World Tour Captain Diabetes or some shit like that. I'd probably also give this one a B. The clip of Ian getting dragged in a sewer pipe is apex material, but overall, it's just a decent fun video. Now this is a top tier content cop, one of my favorites of all time. And not only are these toy review channels incredibly deserving of criticism, Ian making a fool of himself in his local Walmart by acting like a spoiled child is not only a funny skit, but also displays why these channels are so toxic. Now, giving your own children toys every day might actually make them spoiled. Actually, most of this video is just essentially skits, but I'm totally fine with that because Ian is able to reveal his critiques just through these skits alone. Also, no N-words, not a slur in sight. My only nitpick is I wish it was longer, which is actually just a compliment because that tells you how good the video is. I feel like Ian could have provided a little more insight on how these videos are terrible for the kids mentally. Regardless, I would consider this an A-tier video. Fine Bros Content Cop is a very interesting watch considering everything that's transpired with Ian and Ian's life partner. You've got the Israeli flag as his desktop background, Ian criticizing boring React content, and then laughing about a YouTuber sub count dropping. The critiques themselves in this Content Cop are pretty weak, and Ian even admits most people have already talked about the Fine Bros already, so there's not much he can say, which begs the question, why was this video even made? And nothing of value was really added. The only thing keeping this from the bottom are the skits. But overall, this feels like an unnecessary content cop. Not that the Fine Bros didn't deserve criticism, but Ian didn't really provide that much criticism within the content cop itself. C tier. Now here's a classic, a video that stapled Content Cop as an online career killer. I mean, not much to say besides Keemstar gets called sensitive, hypocritical, stupid, and cringe, while Ian provides evidence for all of these characteristics being true. The comedy is just alright, but that's probably mostly due to Ian getting genuinely pissed off at Keemstar's antics. The criticism alone would make this A tier, but I detected an N-word, so that would be an automatic minus 83 points. I'm gonna have to place this one in the B tier. You know, I actually quite like this one. Ian reenacting as the adults instead of the kids is a nice switch up, but the trade-off is a more concise breakdown of why these channels are harmful and produce nonsensical content for kids. I mean, the content Ian deconstructs provides enough cringe fuel for our entertainment, like pregnant Elsa eating poo-poo off toilet seat. It's one of my favorite things to watch. I would deem this second content cop on toy review channels to be A tier. Oh yes, this is when the budget gets a little bigger. For the opening skit, we have a real German Shepherd chasing down famous Cold Ones host, Chad, in a tight jail uniform. It's a fairly fun sequence. Unfortunately, the intro is the most and only entertaining part of this content cop because the rest of it is just 9 minutes of bickering about a channel that's relatively harmless. I could see someone calling out this guy for making somewhat cringe prank videos, but it's like, I don't know, this is supposed to be a content cop. You know, calling out people that really deserve it, and this just seems a bit unwarranted. Like, yeah, the content from this guy isn't great, but it's not like he's stealing videos from others or behaving like a malicious person. And this is a pretty weak video, and the first one to enter the D tier. The Leafy Content Cop might have been the first video of this series to do massive damage to a YouTuber that was fairly liked before a Content Cop was made on them. I feel like a lot of people just fucking hated Keemstar already, even before the Content Cop was made on him, so the damage wasn't as big as it was on Leafy. Anyways, rewatching the Leafy Content Cop, the comedy aspect of it kind of falls flat. I think I was about 8 or 9 years old when this video came out, so maybe I've just grown up, but I didn't laugh a single time besides the intro where Ian chases down a random kid, symbolizing Leafy's relentless bullying of children. I do think Ian does a good job breaking down why Leafy's content has its flaws, such as stretching videos out over 15 minutes by just repeating himself, the overuse of the word literally, criticizing people for being old, and in the middle of his ranting we get an Ethan Klein jump scare, so that was neat. I don't think there's any N-words in this video, but it is very offensive to chinless people, and it was also revealed the donation event Ian set up to help chinless people receive chin implants was fake. Still, somehow, not the most fraudulent charity he's ever hosted. The Leafy Content Cop, for me, is probably a B. It's a very strong B, but I don't think I can put it in A tier. It did fuck up Leafy's image quite a bit, and we should definitely consider the impact of these videos as well. To summarize Ian's criticism in the Tech Destruction Content Cop video, he talks about how these channels are wasteful, uncreative, and there's no reason for anyone to be entertained by this slop. He does a great job providing examples and expressing everyone's frustration with the mere existence of these channels, but then he starts destroying shit of his own in these skits, and part of the comedy is that the objects themselves are abnormal, except for a drone he just hits with a shovel. It's like, are you not doing the same thing they're doing? I don't know. Overall, I wasn't that entertained by this content cop. Like, yeah, some of the points were good, but that's about it. I'd probably put this one in C tier. Woo-wee, our first content deputy. These are reserved for people who especially deserve online public shaming, and it's Leafy. I was about, I think, 28 or 29 years old when the Leafy Content Cop came out, and I remember Leafy's response getting absolutely destroyed by the idubbbz fan base and, well, just the general online populace. And this led to Ian coming back to finish what he started, and I like it better than the first. We start the video with an intro skit that provides us with some top-notch tomfoolery. What makes this episode of the series top tier for me is that everything that's worth criticizing about Leafy's response is perfectly summarized in this 9-minute video. It's not too long, it's not too short, there are 0 weak points, and the simple dry humor from Ian is a good counter to Leafy's spurging. Ian uses Leafy's own editing to criticize him. The points and comedy didn't overstay their welcome, and even simple reactions from Ian responding to Leafy's weak points all make for an incredibly entertaining content deputy. This is an A tier video, no doubt. Content Cop Jake Paul is also considered a classic within the series. I don't really have much to say about this one. It's like the Content Deputy Leafy video. You can tell Ian has improved his critiques of people. Like, he's pulling old clips to expose RiceGum's hypocrisy, focusing more of his time deconstructing RiceGum's terrible arguments as opposed to just making random comments. However, I think the build-up skits for the epic diss track at the end does go on for a little too long. And watching back at the diss track, I'm like, okay, it's a little cringe. Definitely a product of its time. It worked very well with the era of YouTube it was in. So I don't really want to dock points for that because it is enjoyable still. We also get another cameo from Ian's half-friend Ethan Klein. Overall, I would put this one in A tier. Here we are, boys, the content cop that probably kickstarted Ian's apology tour, if we're being honest. Content Cop Tana Mongeau. The only thing people remember from this video is Ian walking up to Tana, saying Squidward, and then Tana walking away all surprised. Going through all of these Content Cop videos, I think a lot of people overplayed the idea that Ian just said slurs as jokes, and that was his entire bit in Content Cop videos. That is greatly exaggerated. The whole point of the Tana video is to display how much of a hypocrite she is for claiming under no context is it okay to say slurs while she says slurs herself. Now, Ian did a good job exposing Tana's hypocrisy, but I did say we'd have an N-word counter for these Content Cop videos when ranking them. This was a pretty powerful N-word, so I'm gonna have to subtract around 200 points. Also, this video isn't really that funny. C tier. This content deputy isn't as good as the Leafy one. I mean, it's alright. It's not as horrendous as the Leafy response, so it's unfortunately not as entertaining. Thinking back, watching this content deputy though, I've kind of realized that the people Ian featured in his content cops back in the day were much better than the goddamn losers he collaborates with now. I mean, how do you go from collaborating with Post Malone to Fucking Frogan. Despite this, I think the skit at the end goes on for far too long. The video itself isn't super funny or entertaining, and most of the critiques are valid, but I don't know. Overall, I'd probably give this one a C as well.
Wakey, wakey, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Wake up. Time to be awake, Ethan.
Well, we made it. This is the video that arguably tanked Ian's career forever. I mean, some people had an unfavorable image of idubbbz before this Content Cop was released, but I feel like at this point, majority of Ian's viewers now are hate watching. The funny thing is, I don't think a Content Cop on Ethan Klein is necessarily unwarranted. The dude definitely deserves criticism. The problem is Content Cop H3 is filled with weak arguments, missing context, and the inclusion of some of the most insufferable assholes online. We do get the iconic intro. We also get the iconic cop uniform, but the rest of the video is just a long idubbbz complain segment with an egregiously unfunny skit. Oh yeah, and the fake crying. The fucking desperate performance he puts on to get people to see how swell of a guy he is. He's so sensitive and kind. This Content Cop actually has great intentions. Ian's just trying to help out a friend in need. I have a whole video going over how terrible this video is, so I'm going to refrain from going into any more specifics. But anyways, F tier. No surprise there. Oh my god. Okay, so somehow worse than the first video on Ethan. 2 chances with an easy target. He had it all, and he blew it. Let's start with the only positive. I don't have to see these dipshits with my eyeballs, so I guess that's a plus. However, everything else is worse. First off, this isn't even a content deputy. It's another idubbbz complains video. At least the last one had the infamous music and the cop uniform for like 2 minutes. This one doesn't have the music or the cop uniform. No. Instead, we get this. The criticism is worse than the criticism in the last video. None of the jokes land. Ian comes off as extremely unlikable. Again, I've made a video going over specifics, so I'm not going to repeat every single specific point again. This video and the one before it are F tier, not just because they're straight up terrible, but ironically, instead of the Content Cop negatively impacting the person Ian is talking about, he only damages his own image and makes Ethan Klein look more sympathetic. So these videos actually did the opposite of what they're supposed to do. Alright, that's my ranking. Bye and shit.